Hello, everyone. I'm starting a new series this coming week. This is the Blitzkrieg Legend. It's MMP's OCS system. This is the France 1940 box game. I'm doing a very small setup here. Very small scenario. It uses a tiny rectangle of the map. And this is the game that I'm referring to. So this is a very small starter scenario, and it uses this rectangle that I've laid out here with the black circles. You can see it going from here to here, up and over. So it's a very small training scenario. It has a single player turn, and basically it helps you run the allies and learn about phasing an offensive using supplies. The Germans will get the reaction phase. So it's important to, when you set up, you'll put your reserve counters down. Now, I have no idea how this is going to play out. I've played the game, the system before, but I don't know how it's going to work in this scenario. And you have to assign some losses when you set up. So that's what I'm about to do right now. You distribute losses among the groups that you set up here, and these are all distributed randomly. It's one turn only, very simple. So let's distribute the losses here. Now for the units that are a huge stack, I've used the formation markers, the 3rd French motorized. I've used just the formation markers. So you can see I did it with the Germans, the 6th, the 7th, the 5th, and then I've put the counters over here, and that's what they represent. The Germans have to start on board in movement mode, so they have to come in with their weaker side up, and so we'll see how that goes for the allies here for this turn. So I'm going to distribute now 2 losses to the, if I don't drop them everywhere, to the French 3rd motorized. I'm just going to randomly pick these. These are all one-step units, so a loss will whack an entire chit. All right, so let's see what they lose. They're going to lose. I'm going to draw these randomly. Artillery and, I forgot what that symbol means. I think that's motorized infantry maybe. Let's see here. Let me get the old book out here. I'm going to be using the 4.2 rules that I've printed out and punched and put into a binder. So it looks like they're going to lose armored infantry and an artillery. And that is an entire regiment. So these 2 are going to go to the dead pile. That's just one. There's already been, this scenario assumes that there's already been some fighting and that it's a counterattack on German locations near Arras, as you can see right there. So those are the first 2 losses. I'm going to make a dead pile. Now in a normal game, you can bring units back in using replacement points, so that doesn't happen here. It's one turn, so let's weaken these out. Okay. The 1st motorized division distribute 2 losses. Okay, let me find it here. That's right here. All right, we're going to distribute 2 losses to the 1st motorized, which is stacked here with some allied air power. And I'm not sure how you say that. All right, so 2 losses to the 2nd motorized division. Here we go. The first loss will be an armored unit. And more armored infantry. So they lose a battalion and a regiment. And these are gone. These are pre-game losses because there's already assumed to be fighting that's taken place. And then later this week, after I get all this done, the setup, I'll play this out. It should be fairly short and bloody. because a lot of things start right next to each other. But don't be fooled. Remember, these represent entire stacks: 5th Panzer, 7th, and 6th Panzer. And under here, the SS. Okay, that one's done. Next up, we have to distribute 2 losses to the 2nd motorized, which is stationed up here next to a few supply dumps. So let's grab that, distribute 2 losses. This is a pretty big stack. So I'm just going to mix these up here. We're going to distribute 2 losses randomly so as to make this completely blind. So I guess this is good for replayability. The first loss is an armored unit and another armored unit. Okay, so those are gone. Those are battalions, the 2nd of the 25th Division in the, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, the 25th and the 13th. 2nd Battalion and the, well, 2 units out of the 2nd Battalion, and then 25th D and 13D are lost. Alright, so those are done. These go to the dead pile, so you can see where there's been some savage fighting already. Alright, next, let's see. The British 5th Infantry Division at 3720 has already had a step reduction. Normally this is a 2-step unit, and the skull represents that it's taken a step loss, so it'll fight at reduced strength. Again, in this system you don't flip counters over for losses because that represents a different mode of transport. You use kind of like cohesion hit markers in Great Battles of History. Okay, moving on through the British. The 50th Infantry stationed here is going to take 1 loss. Not a very big stack, so let's see what they lose. Here we go. Let's pull this out, and it is an artillery regiment that is lost with a 22 barrage strength. Right there. Okay, so that goes away. Alright, distributing the British losses, that's it for the British losses. Now we distribute losses for the German side. The 5th Panzer will take 2 losses. They are stationed here. So we grab the 5th Panzer stack, and this is a pretty big stack. So imagine, if you will, under that counter is all this. So this is what's under that counter with the red stripe. This also helps you can fuel the entire division, and you'll mark that by flipping it over to the fueled side. And I've stationed here, I'm allowed to pick where they set up, and I decided to put them there. And they're going to take some losses. Let's see how much armor do they lose. They take 2 losses. Okay, let's see what we get. Artillery and infantry, kind of lucky. Okay, so they've lost the 14th Infantry and the 116th Artillery. Okay, the first of our German losses for setup. Alright, next we have to do the 6th Panzer. Will get 1 loss distributed. Remember, the Allies, this is only the Allied turn that we'll be playing. It's a very short scenario designed to help you make strikes and see how reserve works. 6th Panzer takes a loss of an armored unit. The 65th looks like a division or a battalion, so that goes away. Discard in combat. Okay, put the stack back on my right. And then the last one, we have to distribute 2 losses to the 7th Panzer Division, which is right outside Arras. I had to set them up there. 7th will take 2. It's very fiddly. My hands are not right for this. Okay, so they'll take 2. The 7th takes 2. Here they come. Infantry and armor. That infantry is actually that. I think that's armored cav. Let's see here. Motorcycle. So that's a motorcycle battalion and an armor battalion. So this is motorcycles and armor. Okay. So those are our losses. And I'll put the camera on those here in a minute and upload this video. And then next video will be getting started. And here's the German air power in Cambrai. We have 2 Messerschmitts, a Dornier, a Heinkel, and a Stuka, all ready for air missions. So during that reaction phase is where the other player gets to go during your turn. You're going to see these go out probably. And here's our final losses. Pre-start, Allied, and German. And then next time we come back, we'll actually start the game itself. And I'll explain the rules as we go along the best I can. I've only played about a half a turn of this game and then 1 full turn. And each version of the game has different rules with it. So you're getting a little bit something different with each campaign. So it's kind of, the initial rules aren't that bad if once you get the supply down. It's memorizing the individual rules for each game that lumps on a bunch of stuff that you have to remember. That's where the difficult part comes in. Alright, so next video back later on this week, we will actually take a look at a few sequences. Other than that, visit my blog at hudsonshideout.blogspot.com. On Instagram, I am gamer.hudson. Thanks for watching.